Okay, so an Overwatch live stream just happened a bit over, probably by the time this video comes out, a bit over a week ago. And I've been wanting to do some Overwatch content on the YouTube channel for quite some time, but there wasn't really anything popping off per se that I really wanted to talk about. Um, but the community has been in an uproar over the 5v5 change for Overwatch 2, which is kind of weird to me. I really didn't think I would have to make a video about this because it was leaked the last time last time they had a live stream. I thought this was like a known thing that, 5v5 was happening. I don't know, but there's been a lot of let's just say hot takes among the community about the 5v5 change, specifically around the tank area. So I wanted to make a video explaining all the 5v5 changes and why this is a good thing. And not bad. It's not perfect, but it's definitely for the better, I feel, in the grand scheme of things when it comes to Overwatch and Overwatch 2. So, yeah, let's get into the video. Okay, so one of the big concerns that, well, one of the concerns is that if you have a pre-made team of 6 and you have 6 friends that you want to play Overwatch with at all times and all this stuff, I feel like that's such a small demographic to where like you can't balance a game based on a small demographic, whether it's people who actually 6-stack or the esports scene in general. You can't. 90% of players aren't in a meta or aren't in, they play the game based on who can do the job the easiest without the least amount of skill required, per se, or teamwork, I should also say. So for the 6-stack complaints, I mean, we all have that one person, that one friend that just isn't as good as everybody else, but hey, you need 6 people, so you just take them. We all have that one friend, you know what I mean? But I just feel like overall there's 2 less people on the field. It just makes, from all the gameplay that I've seen, it just makes Overwatch look so much cleaner and more visually appealing as a spectator sport and just playing the game in general. You can tell, okay, soldiers over here, I don't have to worry about a Zarya graph coming in from the left because I'm so focused on the Roadhog in front of me and then the McCree on the back right. It's just so much simpler. So I guess I should break down, I guess we should talk about tanks first. I feel like playing tank is going to be just way, I don't want to say easier, but it's not going to be, you're not going to get screwed over as badly because of some other tank that's on your team, or and your whole team in general isn't going to be screwed over by a second tank. Because there's been so many times where, you played Reinhardt, you finally get that skilled block on the other Reinhardt shatter, just for you to slowly lose your smile because you realize, oh wait, they have a Zarya and she's about to have grab in about 10 seconds. And there's not really much you can do to outplay that if your other tank or your other DPS don't focus them, per se. So I feel like it's just way simpler to just have one tank. And as well, say it's been a hard day at work or a long day at school, and all you want to play is your tank, your favorite tank, and then the other person either 1 picks the character that you want, or 2 plays a character that doesn't go with your tank. So you're forced to either play around them or have to struggle with a comp that may or may not be played correctly during the game because the other team has just simply put, a way better or easier, a easier done comp, like Ryan Zarya, or Rissa Hog, or whatever. Another concern that I've seen brought up is that tanks are probably going to be bullied a lot more, but to be honest, I feel like everybody's going to be trying to avoid tanks a lot more in general. So what I mean by that is that they're already giving the role of tank a passive to where you don't get as much ult charge from shooting at them, and they also have a stronger resistance to knockback. So already right there, that's kind of, they could add more, they could change it, but they already are making an effort to mitigate that issue. As well as there's characters like Mei who had their primary freeze taken out, so now she can only freeze from her ult, so that's a good thing. And then they have already said that characters like Doomfist and McCree and all of them with stuns, they're going to be looked at too. They're trying to push stuns away from just any character on any role that feels, I don't want to say unfair, but kind of for a tank. You know, like skill shot stuns like Mei's Ana's sleep dart. They said that's fine, and I don't feel like anybody's really complaining about an Ana dart. Is honestly a skill shot, but things like Mei's freeze and Doomfist's punch, they've already said that they're gonna have to completely, well, maybe not completely, but heavily look at Doomfist as well as a lot of other characters for Overwatch 2. They just haven't started yet. Another concern that I've seen is that, especially from the pro scene, which is, is understandable that they will have this knee-jerk reaction, but that off tank is going to be basically deleted and unplayable from Overwatch 2, which I feel like personally that's not going to be the case whatsoever, because we have characters like Zarya and Monkey and, Hog. If it's a 1v1 tank situation, there's no situation to where, well, there are some scenarios, but most scenarios, a Zarya would win against a Rhine, or a Hog would win against a Rhine. It's not going to be one of those, oh, we have to only play Rhine and keep our shield up. Most DPS can outrun and do circles around Rhine and get to the backline without him even being able to understand what's happening. So I feel like if anything, main tanks are going to be the things that get the most, I guess, pressure put on them. But they have already started to rework Ryan by giving him 2 fire strikes, and they've increased the shield barrier twice now. The first time it was 800 health back in February on that live stream, and now it's 1200. So clearly the main tanks are going to be the ones that are going to see the most of a challenge when playing. But to be honest, I feel like, you're still gonna have a team trying to help you. So I really don't think it's gonna be that much of an issue. The Overwatch team is trying to get rid of these categories of main tank and off tank, and they're just trying to make one category, which, to be honest, a lot of people probably would like that more. They've also toyed and have said that they might change the name of tank in general to something along the lines of a brawler, just to further push away from the identity of main tank and off tank. As far away as we can get from this, I feel like it would be better. Because that way, I think one, you could argue this could be a negative. I feel like maybe one thing I can see for Overwatch 2 is that you're gonna need to be able to play every tank. I think you're gonna probably be, maybe not forced, but there's gonna be situations to where you're gonna have to switch maybe even multiple times in a game. Because they're playing Ryan and you start out as Ryan and you're not able to either help your team as well or kill them as fast, or their Ryan is just outplaying you way better. So maybe you need to go Sigma, and then they switch because Sigma is really good against Ryan, so they switch to something like Hog, and then you know, I can see that happening. So if you're not good at multiple tanks, then maybe that's where you can find a fault in Overwatch 2, but again, this is sort of kind of like, I don't want to say a mute point, because Overwatch is a game all about being able to play multiple heroes. You're not going to queue up for DPS and then only play, I mean you can, but most people can play multiple DPS. I mean there are one tricks, but the more characters you can play, the more you're more likely to win your games, basically. That's just how Overwatch is. The players that can adapt better win. So depending on your stance on that, you could call that a negative or a positive. I think it's a positive because that's just how I've always played Overwatch. But if you're a one trick and you can only play ball or whatever, then okay, maybe. I could see that being an issue if they play your Hog and you can only play D.Va and you don't have your other tank to help back up and make up for your weaknesses. But then again, you could make the argument, should they have to though? Like, should you have to rely on somebody else to make up for your weaknesses as either a player or as the hero that you're playing? Like, it is a team-based game and there should definitely be some team-based elements, but I feel like gamers in general don't really like teamwork as much as we think we do. It's definitely because you don't want, it's fun when you come together as a team, as a collective, and win a game, and it's hard fought and it's fun and all that, but if one person on your team is either throwing, knowing or not, it just feels terrible and it can just throw this well-oiled machine down the drain. It's literally set on fire. One more positive I can also say is that there won't be any more tank combos, which you could also see that as a negative, but again, how many times has it been since you've had a awesome counter pick, I mean a awesome counterplay against an enemy tank, just for your team to get run over by a tank combo, like bubbling your Winston, and there's nothing you can do about it when they're on your supports. They're just dead, basically. So this is the same. That's the same in the same vein as GOATs, because not every tank combo can be done really well, and whoever can do it better just wins, which I don't know, it's just kind of one of those things where I can see it being a positive, but maybe it actually does end up being a negative, but only time will tell. The squishies like DPS and healers are gonna have to be more mindful of coverage. Shoot, even the solo tank is gonna have to be more mindful of cover, which, to be honest, I feel like that's how Overwatch is I don't want to say playing now, but the whole let's just stand behind and push after two giant walls of meat. Overwatch is just it's just hard to play like that anymore. To be honest, Overwatch is more fun when you actually use cover like an actual FPS. Like this game was advertised to be a hero shooter is in the name or the genre. Another positive to having 5v5 is that queue times are gonna get a lot better overall. Hopefully. They said that the queue times are definitely better, but they don't want to put too much stock when they don't want everyone to put too much stock in that just yet, because everything could change. Human psychology is so weird because you know you could have, as they said, a whole group of tank players that are like, oh, I can finally play DPS now the queue times are better, and then the queue times just get worse, or maybe tank gets worse or something like that. It's kind of hard to control that, but in theory, queue time should be better for DPS and everyone overall. I do have some concerns for 5v5. They said that the one-shot characters are focus of theirs to make sure that they're not overpowered. Another character I can see being potentially an issue is Echo. Maybe not even for her ult, but just her individual character power. She's kind of, you know, she can fly in the back line, kill somebody, get out, and then there's not much you can really do as a tank sometimes for that, even now, if she's played correctly. So having one less tank to help deal with the Echo, to deal with your supports or whatsoever. And even as a tank, sometimes Echo can just burn you down. Again, they said that they're going to be looking at every character for a potential rework or number change or whatever. Even some role changes. They said that some characters may be seen as tanks, some may be seen as support. I think they said that some might, I think they mentioned twice that some may be going back to a supportive role, which, to be honest with you, I never understood why they didn't just give Sim a heal. Like, they only gave her shields, and then once they took away the shields, they're like, oh, let's just put her at DPS. I think most of the changes for Overwatch that have been good, the community in general has complained and whined about without them taking a step back and thinking, oh wait, maybe these changes are actually going to benefit us. There's been like a couple that have been, you know, a little skeptical. My main concern for Overwatch in general, PvP wise, is the rank system. They haven't talked about that. They should have. I feel like they definitely should have talked about ranked in this live stream, but fine, whatever. They're gonna be like, it just can't. But I'm getting off topic. The community needs to. It takes time for Overwatch's community to adjust to changes. It was like this for 222. Everybody was like, oh, why do I have to play this? And then now, normal Overwatch is just, it's just trash. Like, it's literally hot dog water. Nobody can play. Oh, you can pick any role you want. And even back then, when it was the mainstream, this open queue, most people played like 222, and it was only viable to play like 321 or whatever, when one extra DPS was maybe more broken than he used to be. Now, in everyone's defense, I definitely think Blizzard should have did an experimental card. They said that they could have, or whatever. Well, maybe not experimental, but it was some technical reason they said it was going to take a while. But to be honest with you, I just find that BS, because I mean, all you would have to do is just take one less or two less people off the team, and instead of trying to balance the entire roster, just have like the select characters that you have done almost, like Reinhardt. Another concern I have for Overwatch, Overwatch's PvP is maybe healing in general, because with one less tank, heals might become a little bit... I don't really play healer that much. Well, lately I have been, but it's either going to get stronger or worse. And I think they're trying to go for quicker games, because I think the games are going to be quicker overall if they can get healing down correctly. But to be able to heal less doesn't feel good. I think they said that, which I can definitely understand. You don't want to empty an entire clip of Anna's rifle into a Reinhardt, and then he dies immediately after you reload. So you literally you can't. Healing is such like a weird. It's like the backbone of this game in a sense. But yeah, I just wanted to bring up the whole 5v5 discussion because I really think that in general this is a positive change, because for DPS and support you don't have to pick off your other player. You just play what you want and then you just go about it, and then you can switch to whoever you want if you're not doing good, or you can just stay them and the other person can switch. It really is independent, maybe less so for healers, but yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about. I might talk about some other Overwatch changes, maybe just the changes in general to whatever else they have said. I think they did a big Reddit AMA on Monday, so there's probably more changes on there. But what else they want to talk about, like map changes and stuff. But I'm gonna try and have more Overwatch videos on here on my channel, hopefully. We'll see. I can't make promises, but it's not that I'm tired of Genshin, but I want to get more diverse game related stuff on my channel. Yeah, I'm gonna just go, make sure you like, subscribe, share. That really helps the channel. I also stream on Twitch Wednesday nights, Friday nights now, and Saturday mornings and nights. I also have a Twitter. Follow me on there. But yeah, I'm gonna just go. Bye.